kick off our meeting. Welcome, everybody. I'm loving this weather, although it may be summer again tomorrow and Saturday. Nonetheless, it's a great day to be a Rotarian. And thank you for attending. Let's go ahead and do our Pledge of Allegiance while most of us are unmuted. And then we'll move on. Remember, I got to hold it in direction. I think this is the way I'm supposed to hold it. I'll start out. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
which stands
one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. I do have one little thing. I don't know if you know, the print's too small, but the flag is made in America.
Oh, good.
I feel better about that. So a few things are these days. Can you go ahead and mute so we'll eliminate possible background noise? A couple of announcements. I covered, I think, all of these in my email from yesterday, but in no particular order. Please update your records. We have now had our office at the YWCA since June of last year, I think it is. But we still have mail showing up at the Ramada. And I got a feeling some of those quarterly checks that are coming in are being done by staff personnel. And the staff haven't been told that, in fact, the address has changed. So we're still getting stuff there, which explains why some people said, oh, well, I sent in a check. And yeah, they probably did. But some of those checks have been going to the Y. So the address is in my email from yesterday. Okay, if anybody is interested in becoming the district governor, or if you want to nominate somebody in the club to go through the chairs, please let me know. There is a procedure where the club has to nominate a person, and we have to do so by November 1st. So it's not like we have to make a snap decision, but if anybody is interested or wants to nominate somebody in the club, please let me know. I'm excited to announce, and I mentioned it in yesterday's email, we will be having an in-person meeting next week. We will be at the event venue in Case Garden at the zoo. And I'll mention it later. Gordon Lansford is our speaker, and I think we talked about that in the pregame show here a little bit. I think that covers my announcements. Our program today is our own service committee. And I think Steve's going to kind of run that program. We have a PowerPoint, but as you know, Steve is our vice president and program chair. But he has also jumped in with both feet recently to be a member of the service committee, and I greatly appreciate that. We do have, I mentioned Jeanette Weens is now out of pocket for at least a month, and I think she wants to still be on the committee, but is not in a position to really chair it. So we're just going to kind of make do for the time being. And appreciate Steve's been very helpful. Carol's been very active too. So amongst the other people in the membership committee, the service committee. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Steve, and he's going to share some information about what the service committee plans to do in our upcoming year.
Thank you, Stan. The first thing I'm going to do is the most challenging, and that is to share Carol's excellent PowerPoint. So from here on out, just know that the PowerPoint is excellent and the operator is not. I've been practicing, but I can't say that's gone extremely well. So hopefully you're seeing service above self.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, thank you for this time to share what we've been doing in the service committee to get things kind of going in this unusual time. It is a time for Rotarians to shine. This is our committee membership, and want to make it clear to all of you that you're all welcome to become either on our committee or help our committee in any special way that you might have. It's a time for us to take action as a club, even if we're in this pandemic. It's important for the life of our club and for Topeka. So we need to take this opportunity to show people what we're made of. We have a strong tradition of service in our community over the last years, taking on many shapes, from coats and shoes and blood drives and Waterfest. This year, we are trying to combine our service projects under one umbrella to give us a little more flexibility and a little more continuity. So we're taking all of our service projects under the heading of making a difference. That will include our Covered in Coats. We're hoping to adopt 2 schools in 501, a blood drive, and I'll talk about those more specifically. One of the reasons that combining under one umbrella helps is when we ask the district for grant funds. And so our grant requests this year are primarily focused on Covered in Coats. We have received a district grant of $26.54. That requires a club match of $13.27. And just heard that we got a discretionary grant award of another $2,000, so that's another $1,000 club match. Again, we're going to focus that primarily on Covered in Coats, but under the umbrella of making a difference, we'll have some flexibility. So the next is trying to help students learn, and we've had an ongoing relationship with Ross Elementary in that we have been supplying a book from that our speaker signs to the Ross Elementary Library. Vicki Peterson has made sure that service has continued over the years. I recently spoke to Clayton Schrader, the principal at Ross, and I'm sorry, the other school that we're partnering with, because we have a direct connection, is Meadows Elementary, and I'll come back to that. So making a difference at Ross is not only the book, donating the book in honor of our former member Merrill Ross, but the principal has said that because of school changes and the pandemic, there is a loss of identity for his students, and his request is to give every student a T-shirt with the Ross team logo on it. They also have requested recess balls for each classroom so that they don't have to share them class to class. So those are projects we're talking to Ross Elementary about. At Meadows, Carol has a direct connection there in her neighborhood, and they need help with their kids are needing earbuds to use with their online learning at home, remote learning. And there's also an ongoing need at Meadows, and I'm sure elsewhere, for just basic school supplies. There are other ways that we're making a difference in our community, and we are planning a collaborative effort with the 2030 Club for a blood drive. We also have a couple Rotarians that are connecting us to the women's prison and their knitting project, and we're hoping to add their mittens and hats to our Covered in Coats effort. So, as we've been talking about our plans for the coming year, we've kind of taken some guidance from our Topeka Rotary Foundation in the idea of their signature project that increases the impact that we have in our community, and also on their 3-year cycle, provides much more continuity. And we think that the club should follow suit. And that's why we're talking about this Making a Difference campaign. So how can we make a difference? Well, we're a club that has often come forward with generous financial gifts. We need your ideas on things that we could be doing, and we'll need your help delivering coats and other feet on the ground. But this gives us some flexibility to go after needs as we see them arise. So this is all me, so don't blame this on anybody in the committee but me. I want to ask the question, how much cup money is still in your pocket? We haven't been meeting and filling those cups on our tables, and so I am, and the committee is behind me in asking you to consider making a donation of undonated cup money to this Making a Difference project. How do you serve? As Rotarians and classy people in our community already, we know that you're serving on boards and committees, helping with food distributions, any number of ways that you're serving the community already. For our presidential citation, we need to gather and report the community service hours that our members are doing. So your service committee is making ourselves available for you to call us or email us. Just let us know community service hours that you're making, and we'll get them recorded in that reporting process. So, Rotarians Making a Difference. We're asking you to take some action and help us make a difference in our community. You can send a check. You can send that to the Topeka Rotary Foundation with a memo for Make a Difference. That's kind of an end around. You can just make a donation straight to the Topeka Rotary Foundation. We'd love to continue the good work there. The service committee, the board of the club, and the board of the foundation are all working much more closely together, trying to figure out ways that we can enhance each other's efforts. Volunteer to be feet on the ground, deliver coats or books, earbuds, t-shirts, or whatever else we figure out we might need to do. Report the community service that you're already doing to a member of the Community Service Committee. Share your ideas about what we could be doing to make a difference in Topeka. Don't forget that next month is Polio Plus Month. And thank you for your attention to this program.
Steve, I did want to chime in on one thing. You wanted to solicit ideas, and Joni and Steve and I met yesterday, and we are looking particularly for areas where our people can provide service hours, and granted that is difficult to do in our current pandemic situation, but maybe we'll take on a pen pal program with some of these schools or things like that. We would like your input on something because that's something you can obviously do at home and may well be via email in this day and age, or maybe the old fashioned send a letter to the kids at the school. So something like that, anything that we can think of that we might be able to do while we're mostly homebound would be appreciated. So appreciate the input with respect to that. Any other? I think Karen Streeter has her hand up. Did you have something?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Well, I appreciate the reminder about the cup, that we're not donating to the cup. And I don't go to our website enough, but I'm on the website. What is the best way for me to go ahead and make a donation via our website for the cup? I'm not seeing it.
And I'm wondering, Deborah Ricks probably would be the best one to answer, but I don't know. I see Carol waving her hand.
I have been talking to Colleen, who is volunteering to work on the website now. She didn't, trying to find out how to do that. She's working on that right now. The service committee is gonna send a letter that's kind of a repeat of what Steve's presentation was today, that will remind you of this. And in that, we just at this time ask you to send a check, care of the foundation, to the office.
Okay.
But we're working on going into the modern days and giving online.
Okay.
And I see Joan Wagner also.
I can report on making a contribution to the Make a Difference Fund. The foundation board just met, and Bob Clausen has talked to Deborah about inserting a link on the dues so that you could make a contribution directly into the foundation. And he's also talked to Colleen about putting that link on the website. So we have established a Make a Difference Fund in the foundation. It will be a restricted fund, and the money that comes in to that can be controlled by the community service group. Unfortunately, Jeanette was, I guess, back in Oregon with a family issue, but so she was not at our meeting. But we have that in process now. And as soon as Bob can get it finished, that link will be up there. So I know the Treasury wouldn't want you putting your loose change in a cup or hanging on to it, but hang on to your money. As soon as we get the link up, we'd love to have you donate to the Make a Difference Fund through the foundation, and it is tax deductible that way.
Great, that's good to hear, Joan. And yes, contributions to the local foundation are deductible. Contributions directly to the club are not deductible, just to make that clarification. Question, comments, or anything else? Ideas? You have our emails. You can do it through Club Runner. So if you think of something down the line, let us know.
His hand up, Stan.
Pardon me?
Grant's got his hand raised.
Oh, okay. Grant, did you have something?
Yeah, I don't know if the disappointed is the word, but I guess I would issue a challenge that it seems to me that if nothing else has taught us during this pandemic, is that we really also need to be focused on racial justice and inequality. And many of us who have been reading books maybe for the first times in our lives are coming to the realization that we need to be doing something, and we need to be doing something significant, and educating ourselves and making a difference in the community. And if we don't have one yet, we need to have a social justice committee, and we need to find ways that we can make a difference in our community by being leaders in this area rather than hiding our heads in the sand.
Good point, Grant. I know when Jim presented, he talked particularly about a program in the schools, and we did follow up with Jim and said, hey, give us an idea, proposal of what might be involved. So it's not a done deal by any means that we're going to do it, but at least we are looking at that.
I would challenge you to make a committee rather than just putting it on the side burner.
Well, okay.
So there's an active effort as looking at what we can, as Rotarians, can do to make a difference with social justice.
Okay. Yeah. It could not be more timely. I'm kind of scanning. I don't know if we have any other questions. If not, I will remind you that oh, wait a minute. I see did John Christensen have a question?
I had a comment.
Okay, go ahead, please, John.
My wife and I went to the exhibit over at Mulvane Art Museum that features 75 black women and their contributions. The photographs were done by someone who won a Pulitzer Prize, so that used to be with the Topeka Capital Journal. But it's a wonderful exhibit. It takes about an hour to view, and highly recommend that club members go see that if they haven't already done so. It's really worthwhile and would help us become more sensitive to the contributions of these were black individuals. And it's open Tuesday noon to 7 p.m. and Wednesday, Thursday, Friday noon to 5 p.m.
Yeah, thank you for that, John. In fact, I think before COVID kind of tanked everything, we did have a club function that we were going to go there, kind of a, I wouldn't want to call it a social event, but at least it would have been a kind of an evening event or something like that. So I would still encourage all of our club members to do that on their own. And I'm not sure, John, do you by chance know how long the exhibit is still going to be in Topeka here?
Until about December 20th.
Oh, okay, good. So there's still time to do that. And
Well,
that's
actu-
obviously,
Actually, the Mulvane owns it, so I mean they'll take it down, but eventually it will go back up. That's an exhibit they actually own.
okay, well, that's good. Good to know. I didn't realize that. Super. Anything else?
Stan, there's a chat comment from Melissa asking for a chance for PayPal. Yeah, I assume in the donation stream of discussion. And then she also encourages us, voter-to-voter encouragement to register by October 13th and vote November 3rd.
Yes, good point. I was aware of the November 3rd. I was not necessarily aware of the, I guess is that a cutoff to get registered on the 13th? Okay.
I'm just reading her comment.
Okay. Good info. All right. Again, next week, we're going to try an in-person meeting. We will see how it goes. Now, by the way, we will be Zooming it also. I should have mentioned that earlier. And we're kind of working through the technical details. It'll be a first-time attempt. And Steve and I were at the zoo earlier this week kind of walking through it, and we think we have it figured out. So be patient with us. But for those of you, especially since we're limiting it to 25 people, we know there will be people that won't be able to attend in person. But there will be the Zoom option. So you will be getting a link. And hopefully things will go smoothly with that, with audio and everything. So
Thank you, Stan, for lowering everyone's expectations.
well, we first time I'm a little nervous about this, but in any event, we'll see how it goes because we want everybody to have a chance to see it. And I am excited to hear from Gordon because I truly envy what he has done with his interesting career path, and it's actually planted a seed in my mind as, you know, what will my next act be? So I think it's great what he's doing, and I think you'll find it interesting. So we will go ahead and, I think, close our meeting.
Actually, Stan, before you close, I didn't see an official agenda, but I was going to give you my update since we're doing service stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Cody.
That's okay. That's okay. For those that don't know, kind of a behind-the-scenes thing, whenever we do the shoes through 501, it actually is pretty involved with the teachers and counselors that they need to measure the kids' feet to make sure we get shoe sizes correct, which because of the limited contact and the way school is working this, we've just decided that shoes are not going to make sense for this year. So from a service committee standpoint and a board approval issue, we decided to put a little more towards coats. So what we've done is we've got approval to do 200 coats through the elementary schools that we've done in the past. We're looking at currently adding another one. I did get a chance to talk to 501 this year, and they are fully on board. They realized that as a club, we're not going to be able to get into the schools and fit the kids like we normally do. But fortunately, the way the coat process works is that's something each of the schools actually send home size charts to parents. So parents basically get to size their kids, so we're not dependent upon teachers to do that. And the kids don't even necessarily have to be there at school to be able to do that, as long as they get the information sent home with them. So I'm not going to have a whole lot of volunteer opportunities for sizing kids with coats, but I may need a request. This is what I'm throwing out right now. If somebody has a pickup truck or a big SUV, or if I need to deliver 40, 50, 60 coats to a school on a particular day, that somebody might be able to help with that. In the past, at the credit union where I am, I've got lots of storage downstairs in the basement, so that's not an issue. I could potentially get all 200 coats in at one time, but my vehicle is not necessarily one where I get them to the schools real well, so that may be a volunteer need I reach out for. So watch for updates for that. And I think that's all I got for now, unless there's anything else, Stan, that you can think of, or Steve. And Steve, thank you for the presentation you gave too.
I know that's a great addition, Cody. Yeah, let me loop back to the women's prison. I have been in touch with them, and they initially said, well, how many are you thinking about? I said, well, maybe 100 hats, and the response was, I think we already have that many. So I'm going to go back to them and say, hey, we're looking at 200 coats, so let's shoot for 200 hats. I haven't had that conversation yet, but I'm optimistic that we'll get help from them. So they're going to do hats and scarves, which we can then add to the coat project. And I think it's a win-win. We even offered to buy the yarn for them, and they declined. They said they had it. So this is, I just think it's a great combination that we got going here. Okay, I think if everybody wants to unmute, we will go through the four-way test, four-way plus test, and I'll go ahead and kick it off. Of the things we think they are due.
Is it the truth?
Fair
talk, concern, goodwill, better friendships, beneficial to all concerned.
Beneficial to all concerned.
Is it fun?
Fun, and will it be kind? Thank you, everybody, for attending. I look forward to seeing many of you next week, and either in person or via Zoom. I hope everybody has a good week, and stay healthy, please. Bye-bye.
Stan is